Hello, Lisa here. Lisa Piscini, interdimensional 5D. If you go to sleep at night and you feel like you've done something through the night, more than likely you have. We consider that you work for the army of the Lord or you're working for the bad guys. Either way, I'm talking to you. These theorems are based on Dolores Cannon's work, reading the Bible, my own personal experiences, and I am an ancient alien theorist. Okay? Now, there's something they want me to say right at the beginning. This is kind of a message that has a lot of different components to it, and getting it right might be difficult for me since some of it's written down and Spirit wants to me talk through. But they want me to show this to you again. I know this upsets some people who have seen the videos of this, but I was told by Spirit there is a man and a woman, and they want me to talk about this man wanting to be in the film industry and wanting to create a TV show called The Kingdom. And they say it's not going to happen. Anyway, this man and woman broke HIPAA violations, got blood of me, of mine, and I would never personally do the DNA stuff because I feel like that ancestry and what they just want to know who you are. They're looking for people who might have alien DNA or whatever. They're looking to know who's on the planet. There's a reason for that. Okay? And I felt like looking into my blood when that stuff started to be popular back, what was it, 20, 30 years ago? I'm not doing that. My mother told me I was Caucasian. That's how I fill out my applications. I have not been told otherwise. But I heard tell that these people who have been mutilating people via witchcraft and warlockery, using drugs as well, because they are drug dealers of this TV show they want to promote as the Kingdom. Well, in my personal blood, they found out that I have Sioux ancestry, is what Spirit tells me. Now, I don't have any facts on this. They have more information about me than I have about myself. Okay? And one of the reasons why I'm being held back is because they feel like I should be deported or I'm this, that, and the other thing because they feel like I'm not really white. Okay? And I've suffered prejudice throughout my lifetime because of my skin color. I always liked my skin color. I don't burn in the summertime, it was fun. Pretty brown as a nut. I don't have a problem with my skin color, but other people seem to. Okay, and I'm one of those people who can look like almost anybody, any darker skinned person on the planet. Okay, when I left New York and went to the Middle West, I found out, people there in the Middle West, I'm not white. They don't consider me white. But I'm not Mexican. Okay? There's a lot of Italians out there that are beautiful, blue-eyed and blonde hair. I'm not one of those either. Anyway, I'm not gonna get, but they thought I was Sioux. Because I was Sioux, they thought it was okay to scalp me. And that's why the front of my head looks that way. But then they did it also. They had a doctor named Bernard Rice, and you're welcome to sue me, sir, because you were a fraud. You were put up there by the CIA and my first ex-husband to give me medication to make me ill. And they would try to say I had cancer, and that's why my head looked that way. And they also wanted me to not look like me so that all the different people that they sold my identification to, which my ex-husbands made money off of, would look more like me than like me because there's a lot of money involved. Very, very well thought out conspiracy. Now, when we talk about conspiracy theorists, this is the interesting part. And this is why they don't want this lawsuit to become public, because there's kings involved and countries. A lot of countries are involved in repressing certain information. There's a group called the 177 who is now actually only 99. Okay? Keep it up, folks, because then we're going to take you all the way down. And trust me, we're working, us as the army of the Lord. The Federation does not want World War III. It does not want a TV show called The Kingdom. And it does not want an Antichrist. All right? I don't care what the F your Bible says. The Antichrist is not happening as long as the Federation's here. With that being said, where do you want me to go from here, Spirit? Oh, the kingdom. They want me to tell you about the kingdom. So, a few years back, I think it was out there on the internet, Elon Musk wanted to get involved in making movies or in the television industry. I saw it and I thought, he's cute. I guess why not? This is before I knew he was a bad guy. And so this kingdom, picture, if you will, big building in New York somewhere, or some big city. And maybe it's in more than one city. A giant floor of a big building with technology, TV screens, gurneys and couches and comfy chairs, where in an elite group of actors and musicians and what they consider as beautiful people, and not all of them are beautiful. They think they are because they show up on TV or on the movies. Now, please know, a lot of actors and musicians, they travel the world, they work for the government, and they give information to our government or from our government to other governments in clandestine fashion. Now, these people think they have so much power. Trent Reznor, have some personal accountability. You're going to eat those words, brother. Even if I'm the one who shoves them down your throat. Now, so in this kingdom of theirs, they have a floor, dark blackout IKEA curtains, and there's screens. They have energy weapons, and they are capable of looking into your world with those satellites that are up in the sky, the big eye in the sky. So if you're out there and you're paranoid that you feel energy weapons, you are. Okay, you're not sick. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, there's another story that goes with it. Anyway, this is their idea of the TV show Kingdom. They're going to show you how elite they are, and they're going to show you, monitoring into people's lives, how they can affect you with magic, and actually they pay people to come into your home and do fucked up shit. Okay, and I'm going to show you something. Bear with me. This is the second time for my video, so things got moved around. Anyway, this is how it affects. Like, I'm pulling my stuff out. I'm getting ready to pack up. This is just a backpack of mine that I filled full of stuff. You see this carabiner here? That's not my carabiner. This is where I ask you, most of you are visual artists, pay attention. Pay attention to everything around you. Now, there's one of you out there who knows I'm very observant, as I found out that a particular actor has a clone, and the clone is actually of Jewish descent. and he's not related to the actor in any way, shape, or form. They took this individual to Belize and had him surgerized to look like an actor. And then the actor actually taught him how to behave like him because, the double thing, I guess, is okay. And I don't know if they talked this guy into it was okay, but it really isn't okay. Okay? Because I think the wife was going to snuff the husband and keep the stand-in. Which is so fucking weird to me, but that's a whole nother story. And story, okay, remember the word story because that comes after this part. But anyway, this is my backpack. Somebody came into my house and put this carabiner on here. It's not mine. I've never seen this before. This backpack has been sitting in my room for a few days empty. And then all of a sudden this carabiner shows up. Well, I wasn't here for a little while yesterday, and nobody was at the house for a little while yesterday. And I'm assuming that my ex-husband, one of them, came and put this on, and it probably has a spell to lock me down that I can't move. Otherwise, it was one of you musician fuckheads, and I know which one it is. I'm going to hurt you, dude. Just so you know. In the dream time. Anyway. This carabiner probably is like, she can't move forward. We're locking her here in place. I won't touch it, okay? So a penny showed up. We're in a place where I used to work, and it was upside down. There was a warlock there doing stuff to me whilst I worked there. I got fired because I said, I don't know what I said. They won't tell me what I said, so I probably didn't say anything. Anyway, the owner of the restaurant said, I believe in God so much. This is my belief. Oh, well, that guy's probably facing some issues right now based on that. And I believe in God. I mean, it checked my faith for a minute, his faith, but I thought, no, you know what? God tells me to have discernment enough to not touch things that have been affected by somebody else's spirit. So what I'll do is I'll probably douse this with Florida water. I'll put some gloves on. I'll take this off and I will bury this carabiner. And I will ask that this spell goes back to the person who put it on me. And that they get locked down. And I have angels and spirits who are going to see to that. Okay? So this is the practical of what witchcraft can look like in your life. Okay? This is which the guy Chosen 144 calls kitchen witch stuff. So there. You see weird stuff show up in your house, it's witchcraft. Okay? Somebody put it there with an intention. Don't touch it. Wear gloves, get it, or a kitchen towel, paper towel, burn it, bury it, say prayers over it. Okay? But yes, you have faith. Don't touch it. God's got me out here telling you how to deal with this stuff. There's a reason for it, okay? That stuff does kind of work. Okay, now, story. Several things. My sister has made me a target, I heard. I hear through the spaces in between. Okay? And that's how the dream time operates somewhat, but it's a little bit different because the viscosity of the dream time is different. It's a different space than our 3D space. But it's space nonetheless, okay? It just has a different density. And the particles get excited in it, and in between the particles is how we slip and slide. Our mission here, super soldiers, on Earth, is to help heal the planet and humanity, okay? That kingdom that I was talking about, they want me to finish that before I go further. So they wanted to show you how elite they are, how much they can affect little people, and they wanted to show you what their world was like up there in that ginormous room with all the TV cameras accessing satellite imagery, looking into people's homes. And I don't know if they were going to pretense this on that they were spies, saving the world by looking in everybody's home. They were going to show you what they do, and they were going to show you how they affect people with energy weapons. And then they were going to also show you, like, how they kill people and their rituals and their sexual, that there's sex going on as people are chanting and doing weird things, and they're drugging and it's just like a small group of people who are very elite think they have the power and that they would never lose power because they're backed by kings and other governments. They've been given carte blanche by governments. That's coming to an end. As I said, the 177 is now only 99. And their numbers will continue to reduce as long as they keep up that trajectory. Now, I heard, here is an interesting tale, a different one. A long time ago, a little girl was given to a man to raise for his own with a lot of money. He had dallied with a woman in a foreign country. That family didn't want that child. And so that man took the baby home. I don't know if it was garnered through a grandparent who had sketchy relations. I don't know if the man actually dallied with the woman, or a family in Europe wanted to get rid of a child, so because it came with a lot of money, that a specific family was given to that child. Well, the mother didn't want it. She took the money though. And so the mother and the two siblings, once the father went to, men go and work and spend most of their days away, especially back in the 1950s. They were gone, and the woman stayed home, and that child was terribly abused by the mother and the two siblings, okay? Now we're talking about a gifted child, a royal child. This child actually comes from a royal family. So the idea of killing the child and just keeping the money was born. The stepmother and her two siblings engaged in verbal and physical abuse. The mother constantly complained about the child, whereas other people never saw the issue. They thought the child was wonderful. The child was unique and gifted in many disciplines, as the child comes from an actual royal bloodline. The child could disappear when abused, when abuse became abhorrent, especially when it reached 6 years of age. The child would watch TV with the family and was often left alone, unattended, with the TV as a babysitter, since the mom had no interest in really being a mother to this child. When no one was around, the child would show up in the space around famous people. President Kennedy, Ethel Kennedy, Larry Hagman, David Carradine, Peter Jennings. Those are just a few, to name them. And I'm sure those families have stories of the mysterious child that would show up. Peter Jennings would put a Christmas stocking up for the child. And I think his family might have thought he was a little daft, because I don't think everybody saw the child but him. She liked him. He was cute. She thought he was handsome. And President Kennedy, too. Would you marry me, President Kennedy? I think you're so handsome. And she probably said that to Peter Jennings as well, which is like, how could you not love that? And definitely to Larry Hagman. And I think she tortured Larry Hagman that she wanted to see Jeannie's bottle. Well, he took her to the set, which was, couches and stuff. And it's like, but this is not a bottle. They call her Lisa Literal later. And I want to see the bottle. Anyway, that was a very difficult one for Mr. Hagman to explain. No, there isn't a bottle. This is what Jeannie's bottle looks like. We're just actors. And there was a long conversation about that. She was an amazing, cute little girl. And always the one, she always went to the one with the blue eyes and asked them to marry her. That was her signature statement. Because why? Her family all had brown eyes, and she didn't like those people. Um, the people got her name. They knew where she lived, and they investigated, and she was watched because this was reported, okay? Back in the day when our government was just being introduced to psychism, which really took place at the late 50s, early 60s, psychic work and remote viewing and stuff like that was really scientifically studied and developed. And if you work for the government, you learn certain aspects of that and witchcraft and warlockery, because a lot of groups and our government does fight this stuff. No one knew how she could go through space and time. And a lot of the people thought that was in their heads. Ethel Kennedy was kind enough. She often asked, will you be my mom? Can I be here and be your mom? And Ethel would give her tea and toast. She loved that, okay? She loved Ethel. This person still exists, but because of fear and mostly greed, the little girl was not allowed to become the someone she was purposely supposed to be. She's been put down and kept in a state of constant bereftness. Today the girl still exists. To tell the entire story would take weeks. Today she hears things. She heard someone related to the news anchor from the days gone by, and he said, her life is going to be like a volcano when this news hits the airwaves. And I was assuming there was concern there. But I did come to find out this person pictured the little girl as somebody who's gone out there causing mass destruction and mayhem. And he got the information incorrectly. Well, the little girl who's not little anymore went through the spaces in between and told that man today, it's not what you think it is. Okay, and there was more words exchanged, but we'll leave that because that probably shocked that man, as the voice that comes through the spaces in between is also very disconcerting when it happens. It was either concern on his part or amusement, this is the way I see it, to see if the woman who is that child can handle the volcano. And she said, bring it on, bring it on. For that is the only way some people are going to be ended or finally put in jail. And then I have right here, tell about the people, the kingdom, and the drug cartel. Now, these people from the kingdom, they're international. There's some from Canada, some from the UK, some from Spain, some from down in South America, definitely some, I don't know if there's Mexicans involved, but I know they have a lot of Mexican involvement. I'm hearing Switzerland, Germany. Germany's definitely involved. So in some ways, it's an international organization of terror. Okay? Because they pick on people. That's not the carte blanche they were given. And it's going to be quite shocking to these people as it's filtered down to the family of the little girl. They truly believe they are never ever going to go to jail or get in trouble because of the higher ups that are involved. But it's involved so many people. The conspiracy is so large that it can't not be seen. And this is where, when you see the depth and drama of the conspiracy, the little girl knows the secrets to some of the actual conspiracies, as she was privy to being able to float in and out of time and be small and hide in little hidey holes and listen. She knows things. The little girl knows stuff, okay? They've tried to kill her. That's what you're going to find out. They tried to kill her. They have photographs of her with angels. There's a lot of reports of this person showing up in Vietnam, helping guys out of the trenches when they couldn't get out of their LZs and leading them to the helicopters. There's plenty of stories. Where's the girl? What girl? And her involvement in the United States government has been suppressed and hidden by some snaky, sneaky people who are able to infiltrate her mind, use her mental capacities to elevate themselves. And I sure hope as fuck she gets her back pay, as she needs fucking money right now. And I hope to God that somebody frees her as Bono of the Verizon network keeps her restricted from her phones. As yesterday, out in Alabama, her 5G phone was not a 5G phone. It went to 4G and maps wouldn't work. They figured I wouldn't find my way home, but I did. As the biodome, when I ask it to, it gives me the telemetry as to where I am. And you can access that too. Now, that's the end of that story. I'm going to move on. Spirit gave us some messages, so I pulled some moon cards this morning. Take time to breathe out. It's coming to a close. Balance spirituality with practicality. And that's for those of us who go up into the dream time. You have to stay grounded, okay? The dream time can be very addicting. Know this to be true. Now, tomorrow or the next day or whenever I get to it, I'm going to do a thing on the holly tree. I found out the holly tree is my birth tree if my birthday is actually the date that I was told it was. And the Celtic book of trees, the inspirational thing that I read from every now and then, has a little statement and thing of what your birth tree is. So I thought I'd go over that with everybody, give the dates and what your tree is. I thought that'd be fun for the collective. So that's forthcoming, so look for it. Now, the card I pulled Wisdom of Avalon Oracle card today, and it's interesting. The birch tree came up. Now, please note the little symbols on there. Symbology is important. And I have to say, when we see crop circles, are we looking at older symbols to understand the meanings of the crop circles? Because they are messages. That's card number 50. Which is birch, rebirth. Guess a nice... I felt comforted by this card, so I hope you feel comfort too. Inspiration and new life are here. Rejoice, for spring is in the air, and you're beginning again. This marker bodes well for any new project, endeavor, relationship, or idea to take shape and be birthed into the world. It also reminds you that anything old or painful can be brought forth or transformed by a new and creative perspective, transmuting the energy. This marker reminds you that the process leading up to a birth can feel cumbersome, restrictive, painful, and never-ending. Yet the final shift brings an extraordinary gift of new life, a new vision born of surrender, and a total release. Know that you've come far and are at a place to celebrate your ideas and all things anew. This card asks that you align yourself with the mystery of spirit, the true source of creative energy and power. None of us are inspired without subtle and profound influence of the soul's longing and the urgings of the divine. Remember the prayer. Make me a channel for divine creativity. Use me as an instrument of higher will. And then watch a miracle unfold. So, this is, even though it's autumn, this is birth, rebirth, birch, rebirth. So is soon coming to an end, and some of us will be reborn into a whole new paradigm of our lives. At least I hope that is true for me. And in the description box, I watched Jenny Luskos pastored last weekend and gave a beautiful sermon, which I'm going to put up as a link in the description box, which was very inspirational, and I utilized her words. It made me cry. It's asking God for more, and I did. And I'm not a pagan, but I have studied paganism. I do believe in the biodome, which is understanding and appreciating all that is nature, because within that we can truly really connect to the God above in a very strong way. So I wrote words down, Miss Jenny, and asked God for more, literally, and then I folded it when the sun went down. Some people speak to the moon and stars, and I burnt my request, and we'll see what happens now. I asked for more. Now, a few other quick messages. The word for today is entropy. Okay. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Now they want all the super soldiers, especially you young boys, hold back. The young ones, stay very close to your space. There's bad stuff going out there. Be careful of the dream time loop, okay? So if it goes over and over and over again, you're in a loop, you need to break it. Pull back, get grounded. Chakra balance. And to all the super soldiers, remember, especially if it comes to eat up your world, calm seas don't make, what's that say? Skilled sailors. I couldn't read it backwards. Calm seas don't make skilled sailors. Now, this is an interesting message here. I have the sun, which God has shone a light on Ohio, Oklahoma, California, and Kansas for sacrificing humans and eating their remains, some of their remains. And the Merlin entities have been watching, and they say, you go no further, you shall not pass. Okay. A real high priestess, an actual bona fide real high priestess, has been blocked from speaking their piece, and they say everybody needs to be heard. And somebody out there, the Princess of Fun, is going to have a cause for celebration. There will be champas. There's always something to celebrate. Okay, now. There is a Sagittarian sun sign with a Capricorn moon sign. Okay, very hard working, Very hard working, very hard working. Who's going to put down and come to ground is going to ground a Gemini, and possibly an Aquarius with shock value. I love that. Okay, and the last message for you all today. I pulled 2 cards. These are like crystals and angels. Okay, so a lot of divine entities do use stones to work with, and you can call on them and work in. One of these days, I'll sit down and talk to everybody up there and find out whose stone is who. But the angels have their own, and the deities have their own, and you could, and your ancestors have, some of them are repetitive, some use different, but someday I'll sit down and collect all that information. But this is selenite, and it is Archangel Melchizedek and selenite, divine perfection. I bow to the higher will unfolding in all things at all times. I feel peace growing in my heart and mind. I move closer to the divine heart of the universe, where there is only love, grace, encouragement, and respect. There are so many healing blessings for me now. I let go of what has been with serenity, and I unconditionally trust in the goodness of what is unfolding. And this is black tourmaline, and the angel Lahabiel, and black tourmaline, purification. I courageously choose to let go. I embrace healing and renewal. I release and surrender with perfect trust. I am cleansed through a powerful outpouring of spiritual grace. Spaciousness now opens within me, beneath me, behind me, and before me. Within this clean, clear space, that which is outmoded is absorbed and reborn as an unlimited potential for manifesting new sacredness. Now is a time of potential and grace, which I amplify and activate through relaxation and release. I am blessed with the spiritual cleansing and divine protection to begin anew. And this gave me hope. Miss Jenny's sermon gave me hope. After all, it's very difficult to see yourself as beginning anew when you're at my age and you have to start all over again, ground zero, with absolutely effing nothing. Not an easy task. It's one thing when you're 27, 37, 47, but it's another thing when you're 68 and people have done their job to make you look bad, to make you seem bad, to make you have to fight people you don't even know. That's kind of tragic. And in this kingdom, they average from the ages of 29 to 60 whatever, and they all act as if they're still in high school. And this is who our governments have given unprecedented power to. And God says that ends today. So thank God, I thank God for the potential for renewal for my life, and I hope that extends to you as well. Thank you for watching if you did. I don't say it often enough. I've used this platform as a way to get rid of some anger and angst and speak out about some of the bizarre BS I see out there in the world, because somebody has to challenge it. And I'm 68. They've taken everything away from me. So if they want to do me in to do you some good, you're more than welcome to try. Anyway, be well, people. I hope you have a good day, and I hope rebirth, cleansing, and renewal happens for you. Anyway, peace out. Be kind to each other. Some of you are absolutely amazing out there, and I do absolutely love you. Bye now.